Lynn Hastings is the UN's humanitarian coordinator in the occupied territories, and she's Canadian, fighting an uphill battle to get aid into Gaza.
These deliveries are a drop in the bucket compared to the vast scale of needs.
With food and fuel so scarce, how do they decide who gets what?
There's a lot of moral dilemmas here.
To fail would be disastrous.
We're concerned about that we will lose credibility in the eyes of the population. It's very dangerous.
Hastings has faced direct accusations of bias from the Israeli government. It is clear she must tread a fine line while trying to quell a growing crisis. I spoke with Canadian Lynn Hastings earlier today. So, Lynn, thank you for spending time with us. Is there an update that you can accurately offer?
So we were obviously really concerned last night when the communications went off. This is the third time that the communications have been cut off. And this really presents a challenge to us, not in terms of just providing updates, but delivering assistance. It becomes unsafe for us as humanitarians to try and deliver assistance throughout Gaza Strip, especially if there are airstrikes going on and there's no comms.
And in terms of the humanitarian assistance you're trying to deliver, more trucks are coming in. We only see the point where the trucks cross the border into Gaza. What happens after that?
What happens after those trucks go in? We have regular contact with the government of Israel, and we've made sure that the Israeli security concerns are addressed, but balancing that with effective and efficient delivery of humanitarian assistance. So before the trucks go in, there's quite an extensive verification process. And then after they come in, they are transferred off of the trucks that they come in on. They're transferred onto another truck. There's surveillance by Israeli drones in terms of where the convoys go. So it's actually quite a complicated system that obviously results in some delays.
As you know, you will sometimes hear questions or allegations that, well, the aid could be ending up in the hands of Hamas. So to those questions, what do you say?
Yeah, we have a very sophisticated monitoring process within the United Nations especially for high-risk items. And fuel is obviously a high-risk item because it can be used for a number of different things. So we do have a very extensive monitoring program to make sure that the volume of whatever happens to be, it can be fuel, it can be chemicals for the desalination plant, to make sure that that has gone to the destination and is used. Mm-hmm. So we actually, our monitoring mechanisms confirm that the materials were used for the purpose.
How often would you say are you on the phone with the government of Israel trying to coordinate the humanitarian effort getting into Gaza?
So I think I would like to say every minute of every day there's somebody from the UN who's on the phone with the government of Israel. It is continuous. It is throughout the day, throughout the night, sometimes at 3 a.m. in the morning. It is a continuous dialogue, as I say, to try and balance and make sure that their security concerns are met, but that also that we can deliver humanitarian assistance where we need to deliver it as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Israel is angry with the UN, has been for a very long time, very critical of the UN's work, of UNRWA's work in particular, critical of your work. How do you deal with that on a daily basis?
I think we know what we're doing, and you obviously have to be comfortable with that. We have seen 88 of our colleagues from UNRWA be killed in this crisis. They know that there's a good chance that there's not going to be enough money to pay their salaries towards the end of the year. And yet they are out there still delivering whatever they can to their communities, trying to make sure people just have access to water and maybe some bread or some dates. And really it's really just that keeps you going. And I guess a lot of self-reflection.
Self-reflection.
Yeah. You know, I do. When you hear criticisms, you actually have to listen to them. And you have to adjust your dial every now and then. And so certainly I think most of us who work here in Jerusalem, West Bank, or Gaza, I think we know that the Palestinians require our support, in particular with respect to humanitarian assistance, and again, in particular, during this particular crisis.
When you say adjust your dial, I mean, are you worrying that you might not be able to continue working there? I mean, we've seen some visas denied, right?
So it is quite often something that's in the back of the minds of everybody who works here, because Israel is so vocal about the fact that they won't be renewing visas or they won't be issuing visas. They've said it very, very publicly. So of course, it's always something that we always consider, but we certainly hope that it doesn't impact the work that we're doing.
What sort of threat does Hamas pose to your workers? Because it's one thing to talk about you make sure that the fuel gets to the desalination plant and that it's used appropriately, but along the way are very angry, well-armed members of Hamas who want what you have. How are you ensuring that this doesn't end up in their hands?
The United Nations works with everyone, right? From a humanitarian perspective. So right now, our assessment of the de facto authorities or Hamas is that they know they need us. They know that we're the only ones who are capable of delivering assistance. What we're concerned about is the loss of law and order as a result of the frustration from the population boiling over, because they don't have enough food, they don't have access to water, they can't get medical treatment, the sewage is running on the street, disease is breaking out. That's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about that we will lose credibility in the eyes of the population because we're not able to deliver.
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and we have seen some incidents very close to the tipping point over the past couple of weeks. And that is one very, very good reason why the international community, including Egypt and Israel, need to let us bring in as much assistance as possible, because at some point it does become a law and order issue.
Is there a red line in which you say to the staff in Gaza, stop, get out?
Well, they can't get out. We have 13,000 staff in Gaza and they won't be allowed out. And this gets back to there really not being any safe place to go. And a lot of staff say they would rather continue to deliver and just assume the risk as it is. There's a lot of moral dilemmas here. There's a lot of issues about how much can we accept in terms of the aid not flowing in quickly? How much can we accept in terms of where we deliver assistance? What about those people who are in the place you can't deliver? How do you prioritize?
Hospital or school?
Yeah. Which hospital? ICU? Cancer? It's these types of questions that are happening all the time and that all of our staff have to deal with every single day.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. Lynn, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
The UN is also pushing very hard for the release of the hostages and is well aware of how difficult that is. Few know that better than Gershom Baskin, who's been a key Israeli negotiator in the past. When you finally heard the scale of how many are there, did you genuinely think we can come up with a deal here?
So I think that there is still a potential deal on the table. I don't know how any Israeli government would accept it. It's an impossible dilemma of releasing probably around 7,000 Palestinian prisoners. On the other hand, Israel has a moral responsibility to bring them home because Israel failed to protect them.
You can see the full interview with Gershom Baskin in the days ahead on The Breakdown. So the war is now a month old, and for both Palestinians and Israelis, the future is frightening.
Do you feel more tension here now?
Yes. What happened is not easy, on both sides.
Susan Ormiston speaks to people in Jerusalem about what's changed and what may never be the same again. That's next. Jerusalem marks the first month of a war that is crushing its once vibrant spirit.
It's a place like a tree without leaves.
An ancient city battered by a sense of lost hope.
It is a destructive war.
I can't see the future for my children and for my grandchild.
For many, it's harder to make a living and harder still to bear the loss of loved ones caught in the conflict. Susan Ormiston talks to people who feel their homes will never be the same.
In Bethlehem, the Church of the Nativity, normally throbbing with tourists, is emptied. A small mass, then the ancient portal shuts again. No one knows for how long. 1 month on, this war is paralyzing and painful.
She was buried in Gaza, of course.
Nuha Awad lives in Bethlehem. She was born in Gaza. 2 weeks ago, she lost her sister Helen in an airstrike.
They told him go to the Greek Orthodox Church. They took this bomb. At that time, they found my sister 4 hours after this. They found her under the sand. They picked her out and she died.
When your sisters and brothers were told to leave their homes in that area, were they told the church was safe?
Yeah, that's what they told them. It is good to leave your home and go to the church. It is safe than to be in your home. A lot of people went. From my family, Tarazi family, I was from Tarazi family, 4 members died.
Nuha couldn't go to Gaza for their funerals. Israel says the church wasn't the intended target.
How is this going to end, Nuha?
Until nobody knows. I have in my mind that it is a destructive war. I am still have faith, believe that God will not leave us alone. This is our belief. But it seems that nothing will come better.
In the heart of Jerusalem, here in the market, Makmeh Yehuda, a cook tries to banish the gloom, preparing lunch like he always has, with passion. But the market's quieter, changed. Normally bustling, some stalls are closed. Few are visiting here, and even those who live in Jerusalem aren't going out as much. The Mizrahi family opened this shop in 1964. Yosef is the second generation to run it.
I'm sad because I can't see the future for my children and for my grandchild, because we was very happy with the peace process and it's broken now.
He's on the political left, and last week he met with neighbors in an Arab village just outside of Jerusalem.
Talking together, Jewish and Arabs, what we will be the day after the war. They were also very embarrassed and feel sorry for what happened in the 7th of October.
But like many here, he doesn't believe that the old relationships can thrive or perhaps even survive.
What changed for me is the mind. It's not that I don't want from the 7th of October to live with peace with the Palestinians, but it's became very far for us, and it's pity.
Jews and Palestinians both claim Jerusalem, and the city is divided under Israeli control. The sirens announcing rockets have mostly stopped, but the city's still on edge with heightened security. Everyone worried about the backlash from the war. In East Jerusalem, a Palestinian neighborhood, a man was shot dead after stabbing a police officer, rattling nerves. Just 2 blocks from the shooting, Sarwa Street Kitchen on Salahdin Street, a popular cafe for locals and tourists, was booked solid till next year, and then October 7th.
Everybody canceled, so there's no tourists. So, like Jerusalem is one of the places with no tourists. It's like, it's a place like a tree without leaves.
Mohammed Tahan's family has deep roots here. He's Palestinian, also has U.S. citizenship, and for the first time, he's carrying that passport with him everywhere.
You know, usually when a police stop you, you know, you just give you an American passport, you know, they will let, okay, go, you know, they don't give you any hard time anymore, you know, they just like, okay, you know, you're on our side. My son was born in the U.S., so I told him, you know, you should carry your American passport now, you know, because it's much safer for you. Everybody just like trying to avoid each other for a little bit, you know, not to go to their side, we don't go to they don't come to our side, you know, in a way, to make things not too tense.
Do you feel the more tension here now?
Yes. You know, I feel it because what happened is not easy, you know, on both sides.
The war is descending into a second month with no light on the horizon. The only common view for this ancient place is that it can't return to what it was.
Susan, in the conversations that you're hearing in Israel, what is your sense of the attitudes towards Israel's government?
Well, wartime support for Benjamin Netanyahu is fraying. A poll on the weekend shows a majority want him to resign, or at least guarantee there'll be an election right after the war. He's roundly criticized for not protecting Israelis, especially in those kibbutz communities around Gaza, which were so brutally attacked. Also for not taking accountability, blaming other parts of the security apparatus. You know, there was a protest here in Jerusalem on the weekend. They broke through security barriers around his residence, and they say they'll do it again next Saturday. I will say, though, there seems to be more unity around the war itself. We've seen a lot of groups getting together to support the soldiers.
And what about the kind of impact that the families of the hostages are having on the government and on public opinion?
The hostages issue is huge for this government. I mean, you know, Adrienne, that captive Israelis is a touchstone here, and there are so many of them. You know, this calculus by the military and the government that if it pounds Hamas enough, it will be more willing to do something to perhaps release the hostages. It's a risk, and some of the families want a deal. Get a deal, get the hostages out, and then go continue your war. It's not simple at all, but there's complicated emotions around this, and it is a big pressure on this government.
All right, Susan Ormiston in Jerusalem, thank you for your observations. Appreciate it. Coming up, a golden example of perseverance.
It's not how you fall, it's how you get back up. Oh, that is a major incident.
After a disastrous fall, this Canadian shows the heart of a champion in our moment. The Pan Am Games wrapped up in Santiago, Chile yesterday, and Canada brought home a total of 164 medals. Jean-Simon Dengagné is one of the many victors. So he was leading the 3,000-meter steeplechase when he slipped and fell dramatically on the last water obstacle. But what happened next, his drive for the gold, that's our moment.
You know, it's not how you fall, it's how you get back up.
Degagné's pulling away, the Canadian.
I mean, I was all out since like 500 till the end, so I was just like going through every obstacle as fast as I could.
Degagné has got this.
And the last one I had like just a little slip.
Oh, that is a major incident. Degagné slips.
Just a little technical difficulty.
This was the moment. It all went horribly awry though. Tried to step on the top of the steeple and the water jump. Came crashing down.
But I think that's what defines me. I fall, I get back up.
But he recovers. He's so far ahead.
You know, it's not how you fall, it's how you get back up. So that's what I did.
What a recovery from the Canadian. Has the luxury to slip and fall and still romp his way to gold in glory for Canada. Beautifully.
I could watch that again and again. He's not just incredibly accomplished as an athlete. He's in medical school. He's also pursuing an MA in immunology and hopes to be a physician, as well as all of this. For all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.